yesterday, having been the 80th birthday of Luang Por Liam, was an added bonus. The main ceremonies were at his the monastery at Kok Jan, which he's been developing near his home village in northeast Thailand for quite a number of years. But we were also celebrating his reaching 80 years here at Abhayagiri, and as Ajahn Amaro was mentioning last night, he read out a piece that Luang Por Liam had written when he was here at Abhayagiri, and had written a lot about the quality of gratitude, katanyu and katavedi. In English, it's katanyuta is gratitude. Katavedi is the natural response of wanting to do something in return. It's not so much a debt, but it's more like a response of having received some blessing or some wonderful gift, some being grateful for how things have been. It's the natural outpouring of the heart to want to do something in response to that. So not quite a debt, but a natural responsivity. So thinking about gratitude and contemplating that, a partner to gratitude is the quality of forgiveness. And the people, Thai people who are gathered here today and have been coming here for many years will know that when you see the name Abhayagiri written in Thai, what Abhayagiri, Abhay, forgive my bad pronunciation, in Thai language that means forgiveness. So right from the get-go, when Luang Por Prasanno and I were here way back when Thai people came to visit, sometimes they'd say, "Why is it called Forgiveness Mountain? You know, what have you done that needs forgiving?" And we say, no, it means fearless. Bhaya is fear, Abhaya means without fear. So the intention was to have the name Fearless Mountain. But as is the way of things, that being misunderstood to mean forgiveness is a good misunderstanding. Kachai mai? It's like not the intended meaning, but it's a good meaning anyway. And I feel that gratitude and forgiveness, they go together. Gratitude is the natural response for receiving blessings and say the good fortune and things going well and being say blessed with opportunities. And forgiveness is its partner is where you've been carrying around a negative feeling towards somebody or to some institution, carrying around a grudge. In Pali, this is called patika. A grudge. You have a negative feeling. You have a resentment, or you've been hurt by somebody, or in your family, or when you were a child, or growing up, or in the workplace, or by what the government has been doing, or some other beings in the world. So forgiveness is very much a part of our tradition and practice, along with the cultivation of gratitude that Luang Por Liam wrote so much about, so eloquently and helpfully. So forgiveness is also very much a part of our way of life. And I think when we think of Buddhist practice, we might think of keeping the sila, or practicing meditation, practicing generosity, being one who offers gifts and support for others. But forgiveness is a very important part. It's a kind of quiet member of the essential group of Buddhist qualities. Whenever we are leaving, so that this morning, is it Dave? Yeah, Dave, who been living here for a couple of years. He was going off to help look after his mother. So he had a little ceremony of asking for forgiveness from Luang Por Prasanno and the Sangha. And this is how we part company. So when I'm planning to leave to go back to England on leave here on the 10th, fly back to England on the 11th. So when I depart, then I'll be asking for forgiveness from Luang Por and the Sangha here. They'll probably ask forgiveness from me. So it's a little ceremony that we do, ko apai, to clear the slate and to let go of any kind of grudges, any kind of negativity. And I feel this is not a small part of our practice, because it's so easy And again, I'm not reading anybody's mind, I don't have those abilities, but it's very easy for us to carry people around who've hurt our feelings 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. We can carry people around for decades, years and years. Somebody who was cruel to us, somebody who hurt us, somebody who damaged us, somebody who took advantage of us, and that by the time we get to being 50, 60, 70 years old, we can be carrying a lot of people. And so to forgive is to let go, is to recognize as human beings we make mistakes, and that even though you might have been hurt or you've been injured or damaged by someone or some institution in an emotional way or a physical way even, it doesn't mean that you're glad that injury happened, that hurt happened, but you're ready to not carry it around. You're ready to not keep that aversion, that klot, that anger, that dosa in your heart. And this is a practice that the Lord Buddha encouraged very, very strongly to not nurture hatred. So hatred is never conquered by hatred. Hatred is only ever conquered by love. This is a law ancient and inexhaustible. So when we have this monastery here called Abhayagiri, Fearless Mountain, also Forgiveness Mountain, Abhayagiri. That is a good reminder for us to notice when we are carrying other people around, we're carrying those negative feelings. May all beings be happy except him. Never forgive. That's what we can do. Sometimes when you're teaching loving kindness meditation, may all beings be happy except that one and that one. And we carry these people around like a stone in our shoe. That's a painful presence. So the Buddha's encouragement is to recognize that painful feeling and to forgive, to let go. And this is also called Abhayadana. The other day I was talking about keeping the 5 precepts is a way of practicing Abhayadana, giving of fearlessness. So similarly, Abhayadana, giving of abhay, of fearlessness, is giving offering forgiveness. The word give is there in the middle of forgiveness. That's not an accident. That the English word forgive is representing a kind of giving. You're giving space to people to be imperfect. The people that are not all arahants, they're not always guided by sila, samadhi and panya. They're not always guided by kindness and generosity and wisdom. People are often guided by greed, hatred, delusion, by force of habit. Sometimes they're doing things out of a sense of duty. They feel they're doing the right thing, but it's harmful to you anyway. I'm doing this for your own good. Whack! Often, when I was a child, that was, this is hurting me more than it's hurting you. Often what the teachers would say before they hit you. So, again, I don't know if any of you have been school teachers, but so sometimes out of a sense of duty, people do things that have harmed us, that have hurt us, and that we can carry that around. So I feel it's very helpful to notice, who are we carrying around? Who have hurt our feelings? Who have say, betrayed us or wounded us or done things that are say, hurtful to those that we love. And again, we're not trying to pretend that we like that or we think it's good, but this is the way the world is, and that more hatred will not make things better. More negativity will not make things better. This is why when we chant the sharing of blessings, may all beings, friendly, indifferent or hostile, may the highest gods and evil forces, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. You share your good karma with those who wish you harm. Not because you're glad that they do that, but because more hatred is only going to make things worse. So the capacity to forgive is a wonderful ability that we have as human beings. We don't have to carry each other around. We don't have to nurse that negativity, that gloat, that wrath. Or in a famous Scottish poem, where it's an image of a woman waiting for her drunk husband to come home, standing by the door with a rolling pin. It says, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. Nursing her wrath, her gloat, looking after her wrath to keep it warm, waiting for him to come home. I'm not going to cool down, I'm going to stay angry, so I'm going to really give him a whack when he gets in. Nursing her wrath to keep it warm. Forgive my bad Scottish accent. Any Scots who are here will think, it's Robbie Burns. When we say we carry out these ceremonies of asking for forgiveness, then we say, by body, speech or mind, by any of the 3 doors, if I have said or done anything that has been hurtful to you, I ask you to forgive me. And then the elder, just like Luang Por did with Dave, saying farewell this morning, and then the elder says, I forgive you and please forgive me also. So that you, even if you are a senior person or someone who's a teacher or in a kind of high-ranking position, like you're the parent or the grandparent or the elder Ajahn, you still don't assume that you can't do anything wrong. You assume that even with the best of intentions, we've said something, we've done something which has been annoying or upsetting or difficult for the people around us. We might not know that, but as an Ajahn, you say, please forgive me also. We might not be aware that the way that we've spoken or the way that we've acted or some job we've asked the person to do has been difficult or painful. So we say, please forgive me also. And then the person who's taking leave, they say, I forgive you. Kamami Bante. And so, just like Luang Por was saying about, we can take the refuges and precepts in a mindless way. We can go through the asking for forgiveness ceremony in a mindless, an unattentive way, a mindless way with Maimi Sati. with kind of, our mouth is saying, Mayang Bante, and our thoughts are off somewhere else altogether. But it's important. These ceremonies, they have power, they have value if we are paying attention. If we mean it, then they work. If we don't mean it, they don't work. It's like a tool. It's like if you want to chop the carrots and you've got a knife, you actually have to pick up the knife and apply the knife to the carrots. Otherwise, the carrots won't get chopped. It's applying that tool. And when we apply that and we say, well, that was painful, that my sister or my father hurt my feelings, or my boss or my school teacher or the people in the government or someone in my family, my partner, my wife, my husband, they caused this hurt, this pain, but I acknowledge that is painful, but I forgive them. I'm not going to carry that person around. I'm not glad that happened. I've still got the scars, maybe, but I'm not going to carry that around. I'm not going to nurse that wrath, that hatred, that aversion. And then we find a peacefulness, an ease within us. One of the practices I like to teach when I've done retreats on dying and death, and I think the COVID pandemic has made the Marananusati much more alive, no pun intended, much more real, much more tangible, the contemplation of death. There's so many people that we know or close to us who have caught the illness and died from the illness. And the danger of the illness, people sitting out in the breezeway rather than all gathered together, we're all socially distanced rather than sitting close together because of that, the danger of of COVID illness. So that has been a stronger presence in our life. But so we don't know when we're going to die. We don't know if we're going to catch the disease. None of us know. And but I feel in this situation, the Buddha's teaching is even more important than usual, because it gives us perfect tools to deal with that, to recollect that death is not somewhere over the other side of the hill, but it's close by, it's near, and so pay attention. So one of the practices I like to teach when I'm leading retreats on dying and death is what I call a death rehearsal. It's a kind of death contemplation. So it only works if you're not the one ringing the bell. So I would say to everyone, okay, now we're going to sit together and we'll sit for maybe half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And when the bell goes, that's the last moment of your life. And so we've now got half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, maybe an hour left to live. So I kind of set that as the picture, and often have people lying down on mats individually in the hall so they can more easily imitate the lying on a deathbed. So you've just got that period of time left in your life, and when the bell goes, that's the last breath, and you've got the time it takes for the sound to fade out to be ready. So there are four things I encourage people to contemplate. I thought I would share with everyone today, because they involve both gratitude and forgiveness in this respect. So the first one to bring to mind is to recollect the people that you're grateful for, the people who've helped you, your parents, your teachers, or even like in Luang Por Liam's piece that he wrote for us, said the difficult situations that we learned from, that we're grateful for. So first of all, to recollect the people and the events of your life that you feel katanyu, that sense of katanyuta, of gratitude, that you're really appreciative. So the first recollection is to cultivate that quality of gratitude, how much your parents helped you, how your mother was always there to lend a hand, how the people cared so much for you, that one school teacher who really looked out for you, and that you say, yes, she was so good, she was so helpful, she saved my life. So to consciously recollect the people that you feel have gratitude for, and particular events. So first one is consciously cultivating gratitude. Then the second one is then looking through the people that you're still carrying around. You've still got the grudges, your kind of the grudge list, the grudge report. No, the drudge report, I think, it's the American politics. This is the grudge report. So the people that you're still carrying around, that may all beings be happy except for her and him. So recollecting those people that there is resentment, that kind of aversion for, to bring those to mind. You've only got half an hour left to live. Do you still want to be carrying them around when your last breath comes? So to bring those people to mind, to consciously recollect the painful things that have come from them, and then to let go, ploi wang, to relax and say, well, they did that, and it was very stupid of them. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that, but I don't need to carry it around anymore. Let go. People make mistakes. The mind can be guided by greed, hatred, and delusion. That's what happens. Even arahants make mistakes and do things that can be hurtful to other people. So that's the second of the practices, is to let go of those resentments. Then the third practice is then to look at your own life and to look at the things that you regret about yourself. All those mistakes that you made, the things that you said that were hurtful, the things you did that were dishonest or unkind, the way you caused hurt to other people. So this is forgiving yourself. So this is a bit more challenging. Westerners find this very, very difficult. Sometimes it's easier to forgive other people than it is to forgive yourself. But then again, to go through our memories and to consider, well, I was 17 at the time, and all 17-year-olds are a bit crazy. So, and I was definitely not an arahant at the time. So of course, foolish things are done, people get hurt, there are scars, damage gets done, and even things that are quite have been quite significant, important in your own life or other people's lives, hurt that you have given to others, to recollect that, to allow that into the heart and say, well, I'm not glad that I did that, it's painful when I remember it, but we don't have to see it personally. I don't have to see this is me and mine, this is duaton, this is what I am. So no, the mind was taken over by lust or by fear or by aversion, it was carried away trying to impress my friends, and then damage got done. That was the cause, that was the effect. And then to forgive ourselves. Again, not pretending that it didn't happen or that it was a good thing, but this is something that can be known and can be understood and let go of. Then the fourth one is very challenging indeed. This is remembering your own goodness. Often when we think about our lives, we can remember the sort of painful or embarrassing things that we've done, but to recollect your own goodness, to not be proud about it, not say, I did a real big tambu and I made a huge donation there, or starting a monastery, that's really good karma. I must have piled up a huge mountain of merit. What a lot I've got. It's not to be kind of proud or stupid or inflated, but this is in Pali. This is called chaganusati, and it's one of the recollections that the Lord Buddha encouraged us to make. To recollect your own goodness, to acknowledge the punya that has come through your actions, your speech, your efforts in your life. Now this can be difficult to do, particularly as Westerners. Our conditioning from the sort of Judeo-Christian upbringing and this environment is you should never be proud or sort of pleased with yourself or think I've done a wonderful thing. When it's conceited, you're being proud, you're being inflated. That's harmful, that's obstructive. You shouldn't think that way. But the Lord Buddha encouraged us to recollect that goodness, not to build up a sense of atta, a self, I and me and mine around it, but to recognize this was a beautiful thing that you did. That was noble, it was helpful. Real beings were really helped by you having done that. Yes, good, sadhu, sadhu. And as I said, this can be a difficult practice to carry out. But sometimes it's easier, say, if I was Ajahn Amaro and I was trying to recollect my goodness, if you say, well, if Ajahn Amaro was my friend, I would be very happy to praise him. I'm putting myself into his shoes, as it were. So if he was my friend, it'd be very easy to praise him. Oh, how wonderful, how helpful, how good, what a marvelous thing. If it's ourselves, we oh no, it was nothing. It wasn't anything special. Well, I was just trying to impress people, and it wasn't. It was no big thing, and we put ourselves down very easily. But if it was our friend who had helped out in that way, been kind, been generous, been always available to help others, we'd be sadhu, sadhu, how good, how wonderful, how marvelous. So, to recollect your own goodness, to bring that to mind. So that, but again, to recollect your own goodness and to not build a self around it, to let go of that as well. This is good, this is beautiful, let go of that as well. So that in that little practice of this death rehearsal, recollecting things that we feel grateful for and glad about, things that we are painful and that need forgiveness, and whether it's to do with gratitude or forgiveness, we let go. We're not building a self around that. When the Buddha was giving advice to his relative Mahanama was the ruler of the Sakyans, and he was sometimes called to the bedside of people who were dying, and he asked the Lord Buddha, I said, sometimes I'm called to the deathbed of people, and I'm asked to give advice. What should I say to them? And then the Buddha gave a series of pieces of advice, saying, well, if someone asks someone as they're dying, if they still attached to their home or their family or their business, and if they are, they encourage them to let go of anxiety about the home, the family, the business. Then he went on to say if they can let go of their attachment to the family, the home, the business, and so on, the children and parents, to then aim the attention at being born into one of the heavenly realms, the heaven of the four great kings, or the Tavatimsa heaven, Tusita heaven, even the Brahma world. And then saying each time, well, why settle for the Tavatimsa heaven? Why not aim for the Tusita heaven? Why settle for the Tusita heaven? Why not aim for the Brahma Loka? And so on. And then he says this really interesting thing. He said, rather than then, if they say their mind is fixed on being reborn in the Brahma Loka, so why not, instead of being born in the Brahma Loka, why not let go of the impulse, the initiative to be born at all? Better instead to focus the attention on Sakaya Nirodha, the cessation of identity, blow more, to let go of everything, to not be intent on being born again at all. And then the Buddha makes the comment, if someone lets go of everything in that way, if they fix their mind on Sakaya Nirodha, that cessation of identity, then the mind of that person, as they die, there's no difference between their state of liberation and that of a monk who's been an arahant for 100 years. So it's one of the very few places where the Buddha speaks about a layperson being an arahant. So very few places in the Tripitaka. But I feel this is very good advice for us. That we have a Kathina day, it's a festival day, it's a joyful time, and I don't expect any of us are going to die today, just in case we do. None of us know. None of us know what the future holds. So I would encourage to take this occasion to take to heart these four recollections, forgiving the wrongs of others, feeling grateful for the blessings from others, forgiving our own wrongdoings, and celebrating our own blessings, the good things that we have done, and then letting go of all of it. When that last breath comes, if this is our last day, to not be carrying anything around, to not be owning anything, to be ready to establish the heart in complete peacefulness. The Buddha said that Nibbana is a place of akinchanang anadanang, a place of no-thingness, a place of non-possession, where the heart does not own anything. It's not lacking anything. It is unburdened, unlimited. And when the heart is unburdened, unlimited in this way, then we realize that the heart, we identify with our body, with our personality, our name, our story, but when there is that letting go of everything, then there's the recognition that the citta, the heart, the mind, isn't a person. The mind knows the person, the feelings of the body and thoughts and perceptions arising and passing away, but that which knows the person isn't a person. The citta is Dhamma, it's not a person. Chit ben tam, mari ben kon. So it knows the awake heart, that quality of awareness, it knows the personal thoughts and feelings, the sensations of the body, the world around us, arising and passing away, but it's not limited by that. It's not identified with that. It knows the world, but it's not limited by the world. This is the quality of the awake heart. And I would say that if we can take away anything from this day, along with the boon from making the offering of Kathina cloth, which is, as Ajahn Yaniko's little narrative said, is the most superlative, yaito, is the biggest kind of boon that comes from any material offering, along with that boon, to take away these reflections, to consider the qualities of gratitude, the qualities of forgiveness, and how when the heart lets go of everything, is free of identification with all things, then that's where the great peace of Nibbana is something that can be realized, and that the quality of freedom and ease and peacefulness, that is the most precious thing, I would say, that you can take away from this great festive occasion, this 6-day long festive occasion that we have been participating in. Here one.